Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Glad to have you with us from South Florida as the Dolphins try to stay red hot. And there is Andy Reid under some fire, but only 2 losing seasons in his previous 12 years as the Eagles head coach.
Well, and you know, they played on Thursday night, so he's had a few extra days to prepare. Always good with a few extra days, the Andy Reid teams. And
Tony Sperano in his 4th season said this team reminds him a little bit. It's as gratifying as the 2008 playoff team in the sense that his players have fought hard after the 0-7 start. So it's all about today as the Dolphins will kick off. That's Dan Carpenter. They won the toss but deferred, so they want to play defense first. I'm telling you what the Dolphins mentality is in terms of the playoffs and how they'll look at this one against Philadelphia. Chris, we're not going, neither are you. They want to spoil it. Ex-Dolphin Ronnie Brown is deep with the rookie Dion Lewis. Eagles Dolphins and touchback city. Michael Vick, after missing the last 3 games because of 3 broken ribs, will lead the offense from the 20-yard line. He's wearing that Kevlar jacket that helps hits and impact, but he says he'll be cautious running. And McCoy's having a great season. He's got 15 total touchdowns, 12 rushing, 3 receiving. He has been dynamic. Offensive line coming together with the 2 rookies and Jason Peters, the left tackle, playing as good as any left tackle in the pro game. First time actually in 5 games since Michael Vick, Jeremy Maclin, and Deshaun Jackson have all been in the lineup together. Look at Deshaun Jackson lined up behind Mike Vick. A little motion out. Almost intercepted. Michael Vick flipped it casually, and Carlos Dansby was right there. I don't think he anticipated the pressure that fast from Jared Odrick. Jared Odrick, you'll see him here. He's just going to come flying into Mike Vick's face. Mike then tries to unload it to LaShawn McCoy. Carlos Dansby makes a nice read. He'll want that one back. He could have been in the end zone. A one-handed swat at it last week. Kevin Burnett, his linebacker teammate, ran one in for a touchdown after intercepting Carson Palmer and the Raiders. So 2nd and 10. LaShawn McCoy up near the 30, and what would be an Eagle first down. And for the Dolphins, that 3-4 defense, Paul Soliai in the middle, and boy, the linebacker play has really made a difference. Well, those guys set the tone right there, and then Dansby and Burnett in the middle. You play a 3-down, 4 linebackers. Those 2 inside guys got to be on their game, and they have been. And then back in the secondary, I got to tell you, they've really tightened up. Since Vontae Davis came back 5 games ago from that hamstring, his defense has really played well. Jeremiah Bell is in the lineup with a sore foot, so he did not get the first. 3rd and a long yard. McCoy, first down, up near the 40. LaShawn McCoy came in averaging 5.3 yards a carry. And watch the block here by Jason Peters on Jared Odrick. And I just told you how good Jason Peters is playing. I mean, he just gets pushed and then goes and finishes them. And what a great job by McCoy in terms of that patience. That's something we'll be talking about all day long. His patience behind those big offensive linemen. And good job there by Jason Peters. Headed to another Pro Bowl. Ronnie Brown is in with McCoy after a gain of 11. Vick sets to throw and does, and Deshaun Jackson has it into Dolphin territory for another Eagle first down. That was a laser, that lefty laser you were talking about. Yeah, he has a rocket when Mike Vick sets his feet. Now he can throw from all different platforms, but he's got a lot of juice. Vontae Davis, you see him there. You're going to see him matched up with, the cornerback on Deshaun Jackson because of the speed matchup all day long. I think Sean Smith on the other side's too big to cover a guy like Deshaun Jackson. Historically, this is how Miami's done it. With Vontae Davis, we'll see it today a lot. After a gain of 11, Vick, he's on the loose. He's not sliding. That's all I was thinking about when he was running. Can he slide feet first? We've got our answer.
This week he wanted to slide at the age of 31. The offensive coordinator Marty Mornhinweg talked to him about, at his age, at this point in his career, stay healthy, be smart when you're running with the football.
And you can't lose contain on Mike Vick like they just did. Here you want to see Vick get down feet first. And he has just been hammered. And you're right, Marty Mornhinweg there, the offensive coordinator, they did have that talk this week. Look, Mike, you're 31. For the best interest of yourself and your team, figure out how to slide and get down feet first.
Gain of 6. McCoy to the 40. It'll be third down. Rashad Jones from his safety spot. Michael Vick does not have a rushing touchdown this year. He's got 541 yards on the ground.
Well, think about the defense for the Miami Dolphins. They haven't given up a rush touchdown in 7 games, and that's going to be a great matchup all through the day today. The number 2 rushing attack by the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL versus the number 5 rush defense of the Miami Dolphins. It's going to get nasty at the line of scrimmage.
So Ronnie Brown is in with McCoy on 3rd and 3. Vick from the pocket, hit as he throws, incomplete. And there were 3 Dolphins collapsing the pocket. Looked like the pressure was put on by Cameron Wake.
It absolutely was, and he's one of the top 2 guys in pressures. Doesn't have a bunch of sacks, but he'll come upfield and then come under Todd Harriman.
There's a flag down.
10-yard penalty. Deep third down.
Ron Witter, our referee today in his 17th year.
Run ball, run ball.
Let's get clarification on what the penalty was. It would be 4th down. They're going to accept the penalty, so it'll be 3rd and 13 against the Eagles and Andy Reid's offense. Back at midfield now.
This is what you don't want ever. I mean, your playbook really gets limited in these long down and distances. And this is an area now, Chris, when you talk about it, Miami on 3rd down, they have really yours, the last 5 games.
Vick slips, and he is brought down by Jason Taylor. His 137th and a half sacks, so he ties Richard Dent and John Randall for 6th on the all-time list.
They send the pressure here, which is going to allow Jason Taylor here to get a one-on-one matchup with the left tackle, Jason Peters. And Mike Vick slips and then has nowhere to go. You know, this is the 5th game that Jason Taylor has played against the Philadelphia Eagles. He's now got 5 sacks against Philadelphia.
At age 37, still enthusiastic. And remember, it rained earlier. It's been raining off and on, so that slick field may have contributed to the slip by Michael Vick. So Chaz Henry back to punt. Devon Best set to receive. The pressure is on and it's blocked. The ball is rolling inside the 20. Inside the 15, down to the 11 of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think it was Jimmy Wilson who got it, Chris.
The rookie corner from Montana. And Julius Pruitt also got in.
Here it comes from over here. You see Jimmy Wilson out there, 27. Looked like he just took it right off the foot of Henry.
So a break created for the Dolphins offense. The rain coming down. The special teams coach Bobby April III frustrated. And here's Matt Moore in scoring position already. The flip to Reggie Bush. Waiting for blockers. And Reggie waited enough to pick up a good 4 or 5 yards. Well, after this 0-7 start, the Dolphins doing the little things. Defensive
Well, they're playing
pressure.
so loose. You know, and Mike Nolan, no question, they've got nothing to lose. They have turned up the heat in every facet. Mike Nolan calling all the blitzes on defense. Forget the coverage. We'll just send extra guys, and they sent an extra guy there to block the punt, did the special teams coach. And with all the turnovers Philadelphia has had this year, they lead the league 29. That's just like a turnover.
Matt Moore in trouble and goes down. A sack at the 16.5-yard line. Rookie linebacker Brian Roll. It'll be 3rd down.
You'll see Brian roll right here, 59. And he just reads the sprint out action by Matt Moore. Anthony Fasano, not a great effort trying to block him. And sometimes when you're trying to block those guys 5'10", and that's what Roll is, he looks a lot like London Fletcher. You've got to really get him down towards their knees to get him down to the ground. He just bounced off that block and finished with the sack.
So 3rd and 11 from the 16-yard line with Reggie Bush the back. Hartline in motion. Matt Moore, end zone. Brandon Marshall. Touchdown. What a throw from Matt Moore. His 10th touchdown pass of the season.
Well, and Nnamdi Asomugha knew the route. I mean, you can watch Nnamdi. 24 is going to be lined up out here, and he knows the corner route's coming. He'll turn his back and go to it. But Brandon Marshall just gets a gap of separation. See, Nnamdi knows the route. He's going to spin and run the corner right with him. And then as soon as he turned his eyes to locate the ball, Matt, with perfect timing, Matt Moore drops it right over the top. That was a great job by keeping his feet in there, too, by Brandon Marshall. But the timing of that was perfect. Quarterback to receiver. And Nnamdi Asomugha, knowing the route, right when he flipped his head, is when he got separated from.
Brandon Marshall's 6th touchdown catch of this season after a 16-yard throw from Matt Moore. The Dan Carpenter extra point, and the Dolphins strike first. The defense set him up, and Marshall in the end zone. Matt Moore to Brandon Marshall. It's Miami up early, 7-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
As good as a turnover, Jimmy Wilson with the blocked punt set the Dolphins up easily for Brandon Marshall on the touchdown catch. Matt Moore saying to us just a few days ago, the rapport between Brandon Marshall and himself has improved. Carpenter's 2nd kickoff already, and Dion Lewis will down it, so the Eagles go back to the 20-yard line, their 2nd offensive possession. Michael Vick now trailing.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Chris, you see there, sorry, Chris, you see that red zone has been a problem defensively for a couple of years for the Philadelphia Eagles. And Juan Castillo there, the defensive coordinator, you call it sudden change. You're not expecting to be right back out on the field defensively. There was a block punt, there's a sudden change, and that's been a problem. They haven't been able to get stops and hold people to field goals.
And it's a problem when you try to run against the Dolphins as Hodrick makes the stop on McCoy.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, defensively, you just get done with a drive. You think you're done, and then there's a blocked punt, and instead of getting out there and going, down on their side of the field playing defense, it's slammed right in your face because of the punt. You go out there and you got your back against the wall. You want to hold people to field goals, not touchdowns. You look at the Seattle game last week, major problem, already a problem here today.
2nd down 10. Vick slips again. It's batted in the air, incomplete. All right, so that's 2 slips in the pocket. Colomisi batted the pass. And I'm wondering, this wet field, again, natural grass, but it's affecting the Eagles' offense.
It absolutely is, and they're not playing coverage on Mike Vick now. Not a lot of people will blitz him. Now, they have this year, but historically you're afraid to because you're playing man coverage. So they're making Mike move quick. He can barely get to the back step in the pocket, and he's already got to try to make a move to elude pressure. He slipped a few times, already been 2 sacks in this game.
So now 6 defensive backs on 3rd and 10. Pass is juggled and caught by Macklin, his first catch since coming back from the injury, and good enough for a 1st down.
And He bobbled this one. He's coming right here down the middle. There's 8 in coverage. They only rushed 3, did the Miami Dolphins, so a good mix. It's a nice throw by Mike Vick right in the window between the linebacker and the corner.
Yeah, 13-yard pickup, a shoulder and hamstring injury. He said the hamstring is what had bothered him the most. They worked him out before the game, decided to give it a go despite the slick field. McCoy goes down inside the 30. Carlos Dansby wouldn't let him get loose.
Boy, these linebackers, Dansby and Burnett, the way they started the season, Chris, and they started slow, and Dansby may have been a bit heavy for sure. Here's Dansby. There's Burnett. He has really found his way. And McCoy's got to get here, and then once he goes sideways, watch Carlos Dansby, number 58, turn on the jets and run him down.
They produced the last time on 3rd down with 4 wide receivers. 2nd and 13 now after a loss of 3. From the pocket, through the hands, and off the fingertips of Macklin. Now it's 3rd down.
Well, I don't know how much Jeremy Macklin really wanted that football. When you're late on those in routes as a quarterback, the receiver knows that he's going into heavy traffic and heavy congestion. And you know these safeties, in particular Jeremiah Bell, they will blow you up if you're catching balls over the middle of the field. You got to wonder if that was in the back of Macklin's mind now.
The Eagles 2 out of 3 on 3rd down so far. Ronnie Brown is in with McCoy.
Hey, yours!
Vick goes down. Again, it's Jason Taylor. He'll move up the list with 138.5 sacks.
And again, it's inside linebacker pressure that forces this guy Mike Vick to move. Watch Burnett come flying up the middle on Mathis. Now Vick feels that. He's got to step up. And there's Jason Taylor there to clean it up.
Henry with the boot. Devon Best, fair catch for Henry. That block punt was the first of his career and the first for the Eagles this season. After a 52-yard kick, the Dolphins on offense, and they lead.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost. By K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K. And by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
Hello, it's Tim Ryan. Chris Myers on the all-time sack list. Jason Taylor moving on up. Bruce Smith at 200-year leader since they recorded the stat, but with 2 sacks already. Taylor moves ahead of Richard Dent and John Randall.
And you certainly got to start thinking about Canton and the possibilities when you put those numbers together. And Mike Nolan there, the defensive coordinator. As you see Mike, he's great at what he does. Forget the coverage. He's sending pressure and has been for the last several weeks.
On a 1st and 10 play. Matt Moore has thrown 1 pass so far, and it went for a touchdown. Remember the short field.
He's been remarkable. I mean, really, this is his 9th consecutive start, and this game, pro football, any level, so much about emotion and confidence. He's clearly not looking over his shoulder, Chris, thinking he's going to get replaced. His confidence is sky high, and it shows.
The snap was sky high, but he floats it for Reggie Bush, who's trying to get away and does. He's got a 1st down. Tony Sperano leading the 1st down signal. There's a flag down up at the 41-yard line.
And it came in late between Nnamdi Asomugha and Brian Hartline.
A 17-yard gain pending the call. Matt Moore, in his 5th season, started as the backup behind Chad Henne. And after the injury to Henne that put him out for the year, Moore has stepped in and taken over for Tony Sperano.
There is no foul for blocking the back. It's all in the play. The 1st down.
So the Dolphins come to the line after a 17-yard gain.
Now the receivers are going to clear this out. Now here comes Reggie, and Brian Rolls got him in man coverage. Just enough of a block there by Pouncey to slow roll down, and then he just riding Reggie's coattails, who just burst right out of it.
Reggie Bush with 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Matt Moore goes the other way. And Reggie slips out of bounds near the 40. Thought it was the Eagles who like to run the screen. Matt Moore, drafted by the Angels as a third baseman, but wanted to pursue playing football. Went to UCLA. He's from Newhall, California. The only true freshman to start a game for UCLA and win as their quarterback, then went on to Oregon State. So told me he's used to this kind of rainy weather. And won his first game when he came in relief of Jake Delhomme as a Panther. So they called him California Cool. He unloads, it's dropped. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Minnesota's had the ball twice, turned it over both times. The Lions turning each into points. This one, Matthew Stafford hooking up with Titus Young. 57 yards on the score, and just like that, Lions with their largest first quarter lead of the season, up 14-0 thanks to the turnovers. Chris and Tim.
Thank you, Kurt. Lions try to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Eagles with faint playoff hopes for the NFC East Division title as we check the injury to Jake Long.
Yeah. Jake's playing his best football all year, about the last 5 games.
Jake Long, the #1 overall draft pick at one time and Pro Bowler on the sideline.
Yeah, and this doesn't look good. I mean, the way he was blocking Trent Cole, he just hitched up, and to me, I'm watching the play live. I looked at you, I said his low back just gave out on him. And he walked gingerly over to the sideline, and immediately the trainer has been dealing with his low back.
Yeah, Nate Garner, number 75, comes in for Long, former Jet, 4th year out of Arkansas College.
He'll have his hands full against Trent Cole over there at right end.
Another high snap on 3rd down. Matt Moore just flips it. And the Dolphins will be forced into a punting situation.
And this is going to, look at his stance. I mean, he's got his nose down on the ground. But there's Gardner there, the replacement for Jake Long. And he is going to have his hands full, and they're going to have to give him help. Just like Reggie Bush tried to get a little chip on his way out there.
We have Jamie Maggio down on the sideline. She'll check on the injury and any other activity that we need to report on, but it doesn't look good for Jake Long.
There's nothing worse than low back pain.
Deshaun Jackson back to return Fields' punt. What a booming kick inside the 5. Jackson gets outside and across the 10-yard line. No returns, punt or kickoff for touchdowns for the Eagles this year. They have the football trailing 7-0. The Eagles want to get LaShawn McCoy going. All good news when he gets his hands on the football. Look at that, no fumbles, 215 carries. But so far, Tim, today, Dolphins have done a pretty good job. 5 carries, only 19 yards.
What's amazing about him is how loose McCoy carries the ball in space, but as soon as he gets in traffic, he's able to tuck it in and put the clamps on it.
From the 12, first down. Vick goes down. Yes, here comes the penalty flags down at the 2-yard line. Tony McDaniel got there first.
I don't know if would cause Mike Vick's helmet to get ripped off. It's either a face mask or it's going to end up being a hold, one or the other.
It's already the 3rd sack for the Dolphins, and then another one that was right at the line of scrimmage.
They got to get to the quick pass.
Personal foul. Drafting a face mask. Defense number 78. 15-yard penalty. And a first down.
That's on Tony McDaniel.
Well, and again, they're sending pressure. Mike Nolan sends 5 guys, and Marty Morn-Henwig is trying to move the pocket. Oh yeah, that was a nasty sack right there. Now Mike Vick says, "I'm still live. I better get down."
When you're holding the evidence right there too, you better get rid of that thing.
Mike thought the play was over, then he realized,
yeah,
I better get down. I'm in the middle of some live action here. But you just saw there, the pressure is already bothering Marty Morn-Henwig, the OC, the offensive coordinator, moving the pocket around a little bit. We're going to have to get some fast pass stuff.
So the penalty puts it up to the 17-yard line. First down, Eagles. Here is McCoy. Nowhere to go. Chris Clemens from his safety spot.
And that's the deal, Chris. When you're sending pressure on the passing downs, you've got your guys in position if they decide to go with a run. And Chris Clemens, we've already seen him a couple of times today, come off the slot and have pressure on the quarterback, and there and get a tackle for loss on LaShawn McCoy. Because you're not backpedaling. Everybody on this defense, in terms of the front seven, are moving forward on the snap of the ball.
A loss of 3.
Hey, ram, Kelsey.
Here comes a flag.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
The call on Jason Peters. Let's check in down on the field with Jamie Baggio. Jamie?
Thank you, Chris. We saw Jake Long dealing with a lower back injury. He actually just went back to the locker room. The Dolphins staff at this time is calling his return questionable. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Jamie. On 2nd and 18 now. Teams trade penalties. Eagles are backed up. Here comes another flag. It's a little noisy at that end of the field.
False start. Offense number 63. Penalized half the distance to the goal. Remains second down.
You know what winning does? Winning lights your crowd up. And when you win and your crowd's excited to be there, and Tony Sperano has talked about it, they had a few in the game last week against the Raiders. This crowd has certainly, in this nice little winning streak they've got going at home, given them a big boost and help on the field and forcing offenses to have false starts.
2nd down, 23. After Danny Watkins called for the penalty. The pass a little late to Clay Harbor. Tyrone Culver got his hands on the football.
This ball, there's going to be pressure here on Mike Vick again. You see Randy Starks forces Mike to move sideways, which forces then the ball to come out late. So as soon as Mike's got to move, he just whips it out late and gave Culver an opportunity to come over the top and get a knockdown.
Vick's been sacked a couple of times. 2 out of 6 on 3rd down now. They run to McCoy, who tries to give the punter some breathing room. Jared Odrick from Lebanon High School in Pennsylvania, went to Penn State, made the tackle.
Chris, they are dominating the line of scrimmage, the Miami Dolphins, and it's nothing new. They've been doing it for about 5 or 6 weeks now. That group up front, and then you sprinkle in a blitz here and there. Philly can't contain them. They can't hold them back.
And John Madden gave their offensive line credit last week when they dominated the line of scrimmage against the Raiders. So 4th down and back to punt again. Henry, who had one blocked earlier, and there's a flag down as he goes down, and Devon Bess has it. Just short of the 49-yard line of Miami. A 54-yard punt and an 11-yard return. They're sorting out the flag back at the 1-yard line.
Part of the kick, holding. Kicking team. 10-yard penalty will be added to the dead ball spot. Timeout.
So after an 11-yard return, some may have thought, was this roughing the kicker? That's not the call. Dolphins have the football. This January, Fox returns to the Octagon with an incredible UFC Fight Night triple header, and a title will be on the line. Former light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans and undefeated Phil Davis headline the card, plus some explosive middleweight bouts. The UFC Fight Night. It's a triple header on Fox, live from Chicago, Saturday, January 28th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. From the 41-yard line of the Eagles after the return and penalty, a 22-yard gain. So Miami in excellent field position to add to that 7-0 lead. Daniel Thomas, his first carry of the game, and the rookie from Kansas State lumbers forward. Miami hadn't had the ball all that much, but Looks like Jake Long is back by the sideline area, the dugout area. No longer the Marlins Stadium. They have the Miami Marlins have their own field. This is all football all the time.
Yeah, unless something miraculous happens in the locker room, he is done. I mean, for the day. You can tell by the way he's walking. I've had low back pain. No way.
Thomas again on second and 6. Cullen Jenkins for those free agent signees, the ex-Packer, showing some quickness inside.
Well, and that's the thing about the Philadelphia defense is they are a quickness group. They are an undersized group. They're a group, I think, a bit like we always talk about Indianapolis when you look at all the speed and the pass rushers built to play with the lead. But because of the turnovers, because of the injuries to Vick and Macklin, they haven't had a lead in a lot of games. Which obviously the opponent then just slams the run at you right in between the tackles to take advantage of your undersized.
On third and 6, Reggie is a receiver. Reggie Bush on the right side from Matt Moore, who goes down the left part of the field. Left middle portion for Brandon Marshall, but led him a little too much. Pretty good coverage back there by Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, coming off the ankle injury, and Nate Allen, the safety.
I think Matt Moore would have had him if he would have let him more to the outside. He leads him down the numbers, which gave the safety time to catch up and really get in the throwing lane. I think if Matt Moore throws it really to the numbers instead of inside the numbers, Brandon Marshall's got a chance to get that one for a touchdown.
He already has one in the game. So Dan Carpenter, 20 out of 24 so far this year, looks to try a 55-yard field goal. The sun is out. No wind to speak of, and the rain has subsided. Field looks a little drier than earlier. Snap, kick, hold. He missed it. Eagles will try and capitalize on the field position with 1:34 to go here in the opening quarter. So Michael Vick took all the reps in practice. He's coming off missing 3 games. They were 1-2 without him. Vince Young in there. He has yet to really settle in.
Well, he gets to the back step in his drop, and he's already got the pressure in his face. The offensive line has just gotten hammered in this game. So maybe you got to start thinking about having your 2 tight end package out there, keeping a tight end in. Also, it's going to force LaShawn McCoy to stay in as a blocker, which limits Mike's weapons. But you've got to protect your quarterback. And Mike's going to have to just simply get the ball out quicker. And those plays will come in from the sideline from Marty Warren-Henwig in terms of the 3-step drop stuff.
Vick rolls, sets up, throws, and has McCoy, who's still running inside the 30 of Miami. That was a creative play.
Well, and another way to elude the pressure, roll your quarterback out on a bootleg.
26-yard gain.
And Mike under center, he's going to take it out and a bootleg, but then LaShawn McCoy is going to be the throwback guy. You watch the defense. Kevin Burnett, Randy Starks, those defenders, they both go that way, and then they see Mike Vick the other way. So they started their pursuit in that direction. McCoy was wide open.
McCoy, one of 5 Eagles with 40 catches or more. 2 tight ends in. Pass is complete to Brett Selleck. And fighting off some of the Dolphin defenders. May have gotten the first down. Great effort from a fired-up Selleck. His 46th catch of the season.
Vontae Davis didn't like that.
An 11-yard gain, so he did get the first down. Your 2 tight end reference helped.
Yep, and Vontae Davis is coming out right now for a play or two, because Selleck's just going to lower the boom on him. Bang, right there. Shakes down 2 guys. Vontae Davis is standing on the sideline now.
Vick somehow worked it to Selleck again.
Great throw. Great throw. I mean, you can't even imagine how small that window was that Mike Vick just slid it into.
So the Eagles on the move with their best scoring opportunity of this game so far. After an 8-yard gain, it will be 2nd and 2 as the first quarter winds down. And the Miami Dolphins on a Matt Moore to Brandon Marshall touchdown and a strong defensive performance lead the Eagles 7-0. Dolphin corner Vontae Davis being worked on the sideline. So Nolan Carroll, 2nd-year player from Maryland, number 28 at the corner, is in on 2nd down 2 from the Miami 9.
Look for some type of sprint option by Mike Vick. Always a classic in the West Coast offense. You roll your quarterback out. That helps you elude the pressure, which Miami has done a great job of. And then Mike's got a run pass threat. It's a two-way threat. And we both know, Mike Vick told us yesterday, maybe he'll get 3 rushing touchdowns today. He doesn't have any on the year.
And 8 turnovers in the red zone, the most in the NFL. So the Eagles don't want to go there. Vick's throw to Deshaun Jackson. Splitting forward to the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal, Philadelphia.
Just a quick little hitch screen here to Deshaun Jackson. Watch, he's going to step up and then step back. Out on the edge, gets a couple of nice blocks. He got the ball across, but it looked like his knee was down before the ball crossed the plane.
And they worked on that corner where Nolan Carroll came in for Vontae Davis. King Dunlap has come in at the tight end position, a backup lineman, with LaShawn McCoy.
Watch out for Todd Hermans. He's eligible out on the edge, the right tackle.
It's McCoy who's cut down. Dolphins, Koomisi, no touchdowns on the ground in the last 7 games allowed by Miami, and only 3 all year.
And he makes a great read, Koomisi. You block down with the guard, which they do. Watch this guy just fly up into the box. I mean, as soon as...
Second and goal from the 2. McCoy. Touchdown Eagles. 16 touchdowns this year, 13 on the ground for LaShawn McCoy.
Two nice blocks out on the edge. Herman's able to get a block down, and then Selleck gets the block out, and that immediately creates the crease for McCoy, just needing a couple of yards to punch it through. That was really good by Hermans. I mean, he sealed the defensive lineman and then had enough speed to get to the backer and cut him off to give McCoy the room to get in the end zone.
Alex Henry for the extra point to tie this game. Remember, the good field position on a missed field goal by Carpenter. So the Eagles took advantage of a short field. And LaShawn McCoy keeps faint playoff hopes alive.
Today's game is sponsored by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By the Droid Razor, thin is no longer frail, only at Verizon. And by the 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Here in South Florida, Todd Herman's being worked on over on the Eagle bench after the LaShawn McCoy touchdown. Again, his 13th rushing touchdown of the season.
How about the versatility of Hermans, who's always been really a left guard. Now he's played tight end eligible down on the goal line, but this year, because of injury, had to move out and play right tackle, and he's been the right tackle all season. That time he was back at the left tight end position and had a very nice block.
Henry ready to kick off to the Dolphins. Remember, the Eagles, they have to win out. Hope that the Giants go 2-2. They play the Cowboys tonight, and then Dallas goes 1-3, and the Eagles would win the NFC East.
How about that?
Yeah, that's
wacky.
Amazing after all they've been through. But they've only, back-to-back games might be a chore for Philadelphia. The way that they've played this year to win back-to-back games. Something they certainly need to happen to keep their faint playoff hopes alive. Certainly, the Dolphin defense has played well, even when you bring in a Michael Vick and a Jeremy Maclin.
Absolutely, and they've chose to play a lot of nickel defense, which is their sub-package where they take out one of the outside linebackers and they end up bringing in Will Allen, and they've been effective. I mean, Mike Nolan and the way he's called the pressures, and it really starts with that front 3 on the defensive line. They have been all over Mike Vick, really until this last drive, Chris, when Mike Vick started moving the pocket around a little bit and getting the ball out faster.
And Vontae Davis with a stinger. It's a pinched nerve of the neck, so a questionable return on the Dolphin defense. Their offense on the spot here as Matt Moore on first down will keep. Penalty flag flies. He goes out of bounds near the 28-yard line.
Yeah, I believe they're going to end up getting a hold on Miami just as Matt Moore started to take off.
Holding. Offense number 51. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's on Mike Pouncey, the rookie center from Florida. And that'll back the Dolphins up.
That's a killer now, because I'm telling you, as a defensive player, when a quarterback runs and picks up big yards, yeah, he just threw Trevor Laws down right there. That's a mental backbreaker. Matt Moore had about 7 or 8 yards there that's coming back, and then you have 10 to it, so really a 17-yard loss.
Help me go.
Only the second penalty accepted against Miami. 1st and 20. Reggie Bush cuts inside. But look at that, 4 or 5 Eagles swarming to the football.
Well, that's one thing Philadelphia talked about yesterday. If they can get Reggie Bush hopping sideways, and that was a good read, and he was patient and bounced it to the outside, then they feel like, as fast as he is, their pursuit with all their undersized guys can catch up. So you'll see, here's the block right on Koamisi there. Now Reggie, as soon as he had to cut and go sideways, and then another cut back inside and stop his feet, then you see all the green jerseys show up and flash into the screen.
2nd down 17. The Eagle defense criticized, especially the linebackers all year long, with a chance to make something happen here. And we have a timeout.
Timeout. Miami. They're first.
Dolphins will have 2 timeouts remaining. The Eagles have more than doubled the Dolphins in time of possession, but it's all about the scoreboard. We're tied at 7 in Miami, and it's on 13 now, facing a 2nd down and 17. For Devon Betts, it's intercepted. Kurt Coleman has it for the Eagles. And Kurt Coleman gets it inside the 2-yard line. Down to the 1.
And Matt Moore was under pressure, under heavy duress when he threw that ball up and way over the head of Brandon Marshall. And it was really his own guy. Watch, it's not even a Philadelphia Eagle. It was Nate Garner getting bull rushed and pushed by Darryl Tapp. So Matt Moore's got his own player in his lap. He just tossed that ball up. Really a prayer, thinking Brandon Marshall would go get it. Way overthrown, and Kurt Coleman gets a pickoff.
Yeah, and Garner is in for the injured Jake Long. For Coleman, his 4th interception of the season, and that leads the Eagles. And 1 yard away from taking the lead with just over 12 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter.
And that's one thing Miami has not done over the last 5 games, is turn the ball over. Their ball security has been outstanding.
Michael Vick has to get rid of it.
There's that run sprint option pass I was talking about.
Nice catch by the observer in the orange shirt on the sideline. There's good pressure there from Carlos Dansby.
See Mike Vick peeling out to his left, and the receivers will go this way. So Mike's got the pass option, or he's got the run option. Carlos Dansby wasn't having it. And it was those 2 backers once again. Kevin Burnett in the coverage, Dansby with the pressure.
LaShawn McCoy already has 1 touchdown today. He gets the carry and squirms forward. No signal. Yes, touchdown McCoy. He is moving into special territory on the all-time Eagles list.
Good job by Danny Watkins, the right guard. You're going to see him pull and flash into your screen, and really ends up blocking 2 guys. Blocked Tony McDaniel and Carlos Dansby, and McCoy punches it through.
And he is 1 touchdown on the ground away from the Eagles team record for rushing touchdowns in a season. Steve Van Buren set that mark back in 1945. Still have 2 quarters and 11+ minutes. Extra point by Henry. Eagles, who once trailed 7-0 behind the running of LaShawn McCoy, now have a 7-point lead in South Florida.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa. More fans go with Visa.
Kurt Coleman's 4th interception set up the 2nd touchdown run of this game for LaShawn McCoy. who is on the doorstep of shattering an Eagles record held by a legend for a long time, Steve Van Buren. There's a guy, a legend when it comes to sacking the quarterback. Jason Taylor with 2 in the game so far. It was a blocked punt that set up Miami's only touchdown.
Yeah, Miami has done nothing on an offense. They really haven't. They've got 42 yards of total offense. We just showed the time of possession graphic. Only half as many plays and play opportunities offensively as the Philadelphia Eagles. The difference is the block punt and the sacks by Miami's front.
And Matt Moore, his 6th interception of the season. He had the touchdown pass. Brandon Marshall has just 1 catch in the game for Miami. LaShawn McCoy with 10 rushing attempts, only 23 yards, but the 2 scores. And after the ball comes off the tee, rules require the football to be held for the kicker, Henry, and Curtis Marsh taking care of that. Clyde Gates had a 77-yard return last week against the Raiders, but he will get no opportunity here. Miami comes out to the 20. We've been watching LaShawn McCoy, and Steve Van Buren set the Eagles' single-season record for rushing touchdowns in 1945. Played for the Eagles, part of their 48 and 49 championship teams. Van Buren won 4 NFL rushing titles, and he went into the Hall of Fame, inducted in 1965.
Great shots. Looks like high-def black and white.
Somebody had a good camera.
My TV didn't look like that back in the day when I was a kid.
Daniel Thomas is in at running back on first down. Matt Moore throws, completes, a little behind, but caught by Brandon Marshall. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, if you're the 4-8 Redskins taking on the AFC leading Patriots, you got to pull out all the tricks. How about a flea flicker? Brandon Banks wide open to Santana Moss, 49 yards, and the Redskins have the lead, 17-14 in the second quarter. Chris and Tim.
Dolphins always glad to see New England struggling, and for the Eagles, one of their NFC East foes, the Redskins, with the lead. Thomas carries. It'll be 3rd down. Trent Cole, who said when referencing Reggie Bush, he's a tougher Reggie, and that is Vernon Carey, who came in with an injured ankle and worked out. He was touch and go all week. Remember, John Jerry played for him last week and did so well on the offensive line. He's in pain. We've already seen Jake Long leave injured. So Vernon Carey with the right guard with an injury on the sideline. John Jerry steps in. They're thin. They have no other active offensive lineman because Nate Garner is in for Jake Long, who left injured.
Yeah, and I think Vernon Carey's coming right back in. By rule, he's got to come out for 1 play. It looked like he just took a Trent Cole knee to the back of his calf. It looks like he's going to be coming back.
3rd down and 3. Dolphin offense on the spot.
They got to find Devon Bess, who's at the top with Asante Samuel on.
Matt Moore to Devon Bess, who's been targeted more. He fumbles the football, and the Eagles have it. Asante Samuel jumped on it and forced it. Another Miami turnover. The Eagles have the football.
Well, man coverage. Devon Bess is the guy. Here he comes. Asante Samuel's running with him. Good throw. Everything's set up. Now watch Asante just punch that out. Get violent with his upper body and just take a swipe at it. Knocks it out. Bess goes down, and now he's able to get up and get the recovery. Huge play.
There's a guy Tony Sperano talked about with 44 career interceptions. Bess, the most targeted receiver on 3rd down in the NFL this year. Good news for Miami, though, as Vontae Davis, who had the stinger, comes back out at corner, number 21. Bad news is they got to try to stop Michael Vick.
Let's see if they take a deep shot here.
That's Brett Selleck, who has a 1st down inside the 25.
That's one thing. They are creative with their little misdirections and screens with Marty Morton-Henwig, the offensive coordinator. He's got 5 or 6 in the game plan for every week. There's Marty there, and they just faked it out to LaShawn McCoy one way and came back to Brent Selleck the other way.
Well, you said after a game of 11, get the tight ends involved, because with all those other weapons, having Macklin and Deshaun and Michael Vick back at one time, it's almost impossible to cover them all.
Yeah.
Batted down. Jared Odrick, who's had a good game so far, got his hands on the football.
That was another screen opportunity. An attempt. I think one thing that I always thought worked well is when you got a quarterback that a defense is dying to sack, and Vic's always that guy. Screens always work good against defensive linemen that are dying to get to the quarterback. Not that time. Miami was all over it.
Second and 10.
Where are you going? Where?
LaShawn McCoy slips a tackle. He's slippery, he's shifty. His mom nicknames him Shady.
Remember, I told you he carries this ball really far away from his body in terms of the separation, but he's got a great knack. I mean, that's a fumble waiting to happen, but he's got a great knack knowing when he gets in traffic, and all that's great peripheral vision that he tucks it to his body and puts the clamps down.
He got 5. It's third down.
Okay. Clean.
Pressure is picked up for a moment, and then the Dolphins get to Michael Vick. And Rashad Jones, the safety, brings him down. That's the 4th sack of the day for Miami.
And Rashad Jones is the guy that comes off the edge right up here, unblocked. That was a break in protection. You see Jason Peters blocks down. There were 2 guys outside of him. The back got one of them, and no one blocked Rashad Jones. Mike Nolan is really good at dialing up pressures and know when to dial up the pressures at the opportune time.
Alex Henry has made his last 10 field goals. His last miss was week 4. This is a 40-yard try. The kick. It's good. The Eagles lengthen their lead. A 10-point advantage here. Hey, Fox, tonight an all-new Family Guy going to deck your halls with Peter and the gang. It's a wild holiday adventure as the Griffins celebrate the season as only they know how. A lot of mayhem and laughter on an all-new Family Guy tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, followed by an all-new American Dad on Fox. Animation domination, and the Eagles have been dominating after trailing 7-0. You said their defense likes and is successful playing with a lead. Well, they have that now.
And that's what it's all about. And then that way, Jason Babin and Trent Cole and those guys, that undersized defense in between them, can really pin their ears back and get after it. They've certainly got Miami on their heels, and I'll tell you why. Miami's really been unable to run the football. And if they can't run, things get exponentially harder on your quarterback, Matt Moore.
So it was the interception and then the fumble. At least the Dolphin defense kept the Eagles out of the end zone.
Yeah, that was a big stop. That's something Philly has been unable to do. And like we saw early in the game when Miami capitalized after the block punt with the touchdown. But you think of the contrast just from last week's game against the Raiders for Miami. They had over 200 yards rushing in that game. Right now, they are sitting at 16 rush yards. That's not going to get it done.
And the Eagles, who say it's turnovers, 29, which is tied for the most in the league, and they have none today. You don't count the block punt. It's kept them from the victory column. Clyde Gates will down it, and the Dolphins come out to the 20-yard line. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers here in South Florida. And after the block punt, Matt Moore with a perfect throw to Brandon Marshall to give the Dolphins a 7-0 lead. LaShawn McCoy into the end zone, and after an interception by Coleman, McCoy gets another touchdown, and then a fumble recovery by Asante Samuel, and a field goal, and that's where we stand. It's 17-7 as the Dolphins take over on their own 20. Reggie Bush the pitch. He will lose a couple of yards. Quickly in to make the stop
hard to get the ball outside, what everyone calls those wide 9 techniques. And really, the 9 is just a 9 alignment. Means you're outside of everybody, tilted in, knifed in, and it's just hard to be able to get the ball outside.
Darryl Tapp with that 2-yard loss. Matt Moore in a hole now. Matt Moore, other than the touchdown, he's 5 out of 9, but again has the interception.
You see what I mean? You see these guys, look how wide they are outside the offensive tackles, tilted in and knifing in.
Pass was complete, short of the first down to Marshall. That wide rush. How should the Dolphins counter that?
Well, you got to run the inside powers in the running game for sure. I mean, when you start talking about these big wide guys right here, I mean, this is all the running action right here. And we know incognito on the inside power is their bread and butter. So they need to get to that. And then with these guys, you got to end up giving help with running backs and tight ends in the pass game.
And Reggie Bush has been in Miami a strong runner inside the tackles, something we hadn't seen a lot of earlier in his career. But now a 3rd and 6.
Look at this funky look, 2 down linemen.
And down goes Moore. Casey Matthews, the rookie linebacker.
Well, you got 2 linemen on the field. You got 4 linebackers. They're all inside the box. And Matthews just comes right up the gut. Defensive lineman, 4 guys right here. There's Matthews who gets the pressure in the sack. Carey's got to block down. Colombo's got to block out. It's to the other side of the running back. There is nobody to block Casey Matthews. That is a great scheme call by Juan Castillo and better execution by Matthews.
First career sack for Matthews. His brother, of course, the Packers. Matthews, his uncle, his dad. As Deshaun Jackson takes the punt and flips. Curtis Marsh couldn't hold on to the football, and the Dolphins have it.
And I think it was Tyrone Culver that knocked it out, Chris. At first, that looked like a forward pass, but if you looked at where Deshaun Jackson threw it from, it was clearly a legal backward pass.
And I think, Tim, it had something to do with the way he hesitated. He wanted to make sure it wasn't forward when he threw it.
Absolutely. So he throws it from beyond the 30. Marsh catches it behind the 30, and then there's Culver to knock it out. Now the question is, was the knee down before the ball comes out? No way.
That's a fumble recovery, Miami, and the turnovers that we talked about. Now the 30th this season.
Very interesting call by Bobby April. Up 10 points.
Getting the football.
I don't know really if you needed to do that based on where we are in this game. Second quarter up 10.
Tough break for Marsh. Big play Culver. Matt Moore on first down. He fumbles the football. The Eagles have it. Just like that. Takeaway, giveaway. As Mike Patterson came up with the football.
We were just talking about the wide 9s and those big wide alignments. A lot of times, Chris, you're so worried because of their alignment out here. You're worried about them beating you around the corner. Babin comes underneath on Colombo with a spin move. You see, as soon as Colombo turned his shoulders, worried about the speed rush, Jason Babin, the left defensive end, spins it back inside and swats the football out.
In the battle of turnovers, Miami leads that 3-1, the category you don't want to lead. As Babin caused it, 12 sacks this year, his second go-around with the Eagles, and knocking that loose for Patterson to recover.
It's amazing. That's his 13th sack on the season. The guy's got 26 and a half sacks in the last 29 games. He has found the fountain of youth.
Pass is complete to Selleck, who's knocked down at the 35-yard line.
It's a good legal hit by Jeremiah Bell, too.
Leading tackler of the Dolphins.
No, that's one of those opportunities where you have the opportunity to blow the guy up from the neck up, which always end up being called with hits on defenseless players. That was really good by Jeremiah Bell, lowering his strike zone, making a good legal hit, but yet being violent and forceful.
A 9-yard pickup. Vick is 8 out of 14. He's run one time. He's been sacked twice.
Where you going? Man. Ringo, come on.
LaShawn McCoy for the first down. And the Eagles have taken control of this football game. You talked about the extra rest or preparation time playing that Thursday night game against Seattle, which really was an embarrassing game for Philadelphia.
Oh, it was brutally embarrassing, and it was the turnovers once again. I mean, 4 interceptions by Vince Young, 1 for a pick 6. Andy Reid, after a bye or a few extra days, always good. And historically, as you know, this team's been darn good on the road as well.
He's got no magic formula for that. It's just the way it's fallen. Now his 13th season as Vick is on the move. And floats one to a wide open Jason Avant.
You can't give Mike Vick that much time. He is going to break you down, and as soon as you commit, as we saw the pass rusher at the top committed with an inside move, Mike sees that he's going to bounce outside, and there's no way you can stay with the receivers that long as a secondary player. Watch Mike. Look at this clock right here. You want that ball out in under 3 seconds. As soon as Mike feels the contained break, he gets outside 5.5 seconds. Hard to stop the Philly pass attack if you give him that much time.
A 28-yard gain. And when I asked Andy Reid about where Vick improved the most as a passer, he said understanding the pocket protection. And he did there. Vick still has it. Going for the end zone, Deshaun Jackson. Touchdown.
Well, that is a great route by Deshaun Jackson. And he had guys spinning all over the place. Watch this route. I mean, this is the one-on-one matchup we've been talking about. And he looks back inside and clearly a bust. Jeremiah Bell, who was playing safety, wanted Vontae Davis back playing the deep quarter in that part of the field. And you can see right away, Jeremiah Bell turned and started yelling at Vontae Davis, and Deshaun Jackson made him pay for it.
He's only 5'10", 165 pounds as Henry with the extra point. And Andy Reid said he's all in after all the chatter about what it looked like in that loss to Seattle. A 34-yard touchdown pass hauled in by Deshaun Jackson. And the Eagles open up an even bigger lead after having trailed 7-0. They now lead at 24-7.
And you know what? Morning Henwick said it. He said the guy's preparation has been outstanding. We all understand the contractual issues that Deshaun Jackson's going through. But you know what? In regards to Philadelphia, they'd definitely be willing to put him a real nice deal on the table. I know that. Problem is, I think Deshaun Jackson wants top wide receiver money, and I'm not so sure they see him that way as a receiver. Now, you add the return skills to it and everything he does as an impact player on your team. Guy's absolutely worth a lot of bread.
His 3rd touchdown catch of the year. We see things on the outside, but his teammates, Tim, rallied, and I don't know if that's just, hey, it's us against the world, our locker room, but his teammates rallied around him after that expose of Thursday night, and Michael Vick even said, hey, you know, he's motivated even more.
And say what you want, and in terms of what you hear out there, it has not fractured the locker room by any means. They are not a 4-8 team coming in here because of this situation fracturing the locker room between certain players and coaches. They're 4-8 because they've had injuries at key positions and they can't hold on to the football with the turnovers.
And
that's simple.
For the first time since they played the Bears, 5 games that they've had Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and Michael Vick all healthy and all in the same game, and you see the results. 17 points off turnovers. Gates will bring it out. And a good return across the 20 for Clyde Gates. Friday, January 6th, one of the more anticipated bowl games of the season. 8th-ranked Kansas State against 6th-ranked Arkansas in the only Big 12 SEC showdown, and our exclusive coverage of the always classy, the 76th Cotton Bowl, live from Cowboy Stadium at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You'll see it in high definition on Fox. That's January 6th. The Cotton Bowl right here, and the only non-BCS game that features 2 teams that are ranked in the top 10. Brandon Marshall could not hold on.
Couldn't make the throw any better if you're Matt Moore. Nice crossing route, put it right on the money, and Brandon's had a few issues with drops, especially early in the year. We're going to find out what Matt Moore's all about now. Down 17 points. They haven't been in this situation for a while where they're going to have to play catch up with the passing game.
He signed a 2-year contract when he came here to back up for Tony Sperano. Chad Henne, by the way, the injured shoulder on injured reserve, still working out with the team. Is Moore a starter in the NFL? He hesitated when we asked him. And that says he is. The completion to the tight end.
Well, you see Philadelphia with a 17-point lead. They're going to play a lot of cover 2, which is 2 deep safeties, and there they are. And then here's Fasano. He's going to get right down the seam. You got to have time versus a 4-man rush for the play to develop. They get it, and they slam it right in that cover 2 hole with the 2 deep safeties playing wide.
Pressure coming. He gets rid of it. It's tipped. And Devon Best holds on. Devon Best stayed with it.
Watch Kurt Coleman's going to come here on the pressure. The safety. Also, Akeem Jordan comes. He gets the hand on the ball and ended up being a really good catch. An adjustment, excuse me, by Devon Best.
Daniel Thomas.
Is that inside power?
And it looked like he got near a first down. He needed 2 yards. The yellow line is not official. The officials make it official. We'll see how they spot it. Dolphins want to get some points before the half after trying to end the avalanche of Eagles scoring. Michael Vick now 10 out of 16. The touchdown throw to Deshaun Jackson.
Nobody knows how tough that dude is when you really sit down and talk with Mike Vick. He smashed those ribs in the second play of the game against Arizona. Chris never told a soul. Not a player, not a coach, nobody.
And Andy Reid even asked him, said, I got the wind knocked out of me. He wanted to finish the game. John Jerry is in to help block in the backfield. Vernon Carey back in on 3rd and 1. Thomas. And I don't know, this Eagle defense has put up a wall.
I don't know where John Jerry's going, but the offensive lineman playing fullback, he goes to the outside, and the running back didn't follow it.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. Eagles lead Miami 24-7.
Today's game is sponsored by AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible.
Philadelphia with the lead. Miami will get the football when we start the 3rd quarter. Next week on Fox, the Giants and Redskins clash in the NFC East. Others might see the Packers try and continue their undefeated quest as they take on the Chiefs. But check local listings for the games and the start times in your area affecting the playoffs and your favorite team. It's the NFL on Fox. It all begins with the pregame show presented by Ford at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we'll be back with the start of the 3rd quarter in just a moment.
It's an SEC Big 12 showdown. Kansas State takes on Arkansas in the AT&T Cotton Bowl, January 6th on Fox.
The NFL on Fox live here at South Florida. Now the weather's beautiful. Nice day to hit the beach. Temperature in the high 70s. The rain has moved through, and the Eagles with a 24-7 lead getting ready to kick off. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Hope you're enjoying the game. I know Eagles fans are. Tim Ryan and Chris Myers. And let's talk about Matt Moore. In 21 NFL starts, he has 3 comebacks. This has been a game of turnovers. Can he do it against this Eagle defense?
Well, I don't know, and it's going to be hard for him. The pressure is certainly on. He hasn't had a good running game and the support of the run game to lean on. And I'm telling you, ball security will be huge. There's a lost fumble. There's the interception. And then the Devon Best fumble. They are going to get the ball to start it out here, but it won't be easy against Philadelphia, who we said earlier are a defense that, in my opinion, is really built to play with the lead. When you think about all their pass rushers, you know, nobody in the league is rushing the passer with the front 4 better than the Philadelphia Eagles. Jason Babin has had a great day. Trent Cole has brought the pressure. So I think losing Jake Long has certainly played a factor in this game, the left tackle for Miami. A lot of question marks for Matt Moore. He can answer a lot of questions here in the second half.
Each team has had 4 sacks. Babin with 2 of those. He's also forced a fumble. Matt Moore did fumble the football through an interception, but he does have the early touchdown pass to Brandon Marshall, who dropped one, which had an effect on a drive.
Well, it really seems like, I mean, after the block punt, when Miami blocked the punt with Jimmy Wilson, and then there was a great throw, the touchdown from Matt Moore to Brandon Marshall, not a lot of good has happened. And when the rain stopped and it dried up, Mike Vick stopped sliding around and started making plays in the passing game.
Let's check in down on the field again with Jamie Maggio. Jamie?
Chris, thank you. 17 points off turnovers for the Eagles. I spoke with Coach Tony Sperano. He said that killed us. We gave them the field position, and he's right. He said in the second half, if we can watch those turnovers, we have a chance to win this ball game. Chris, Tim, back to you.
All right, Jamie, a clock malfunction is affecting the start of the second half here, in which the Dolphins and Tony Sperano's team will receive. Sperano, his contract, he got an extension after they were interested in Harbaugh, and so it's 2 years after this year. And when they started out 0-7, everybody assumed he was going to be gone as head coach, but the talk has changed a little.
Well, listen, none of us can speak for the owner and what his real decision-making process is. And there's a lot of guys in the know that don't know what he's going to do. But to me, I challenge you or anybody, if it's going to be a coordinator or somebody, if you can't get Jeff Fisher, who else are you going to bring in here that's a coordinator in the NFL that's going to do a better job than Tony Sperano? I'm not buying it.
And to his credit, he turned the team over to some veterans, and he said the team taught me something. I was used to doing things this way with a practice schedule, no pads since the game against Denver. That changed
And
things.
you know how hard that was for a guy like that who was raised by Marty Schottenheimer and Tom Coughlin and Bill Parcells, and the grind it, and we're losing, we're going to work harder, we're going to hit more. They haven't had the pads on since they were 0-6. And all you can talk about when you talk to the guys around here is how much fun they've had. And it shows, and it certainly translated to wins. They got to get back to that here in the second half.
Yeah, they dug out of the hole record-wise during the year. They have to dig out of the hole here, trailing 24-7. The points off turnovers, 17 for the Eagles, none for Miami. The difference in the game.
Think of Philadelphia in terms of the takeaway giveaway. In their 4 wins this year, and this is true with a lot of teams, but in particular with Philadelphia this year, they're +2 in takeaway giveaway in the turnover margin in their 4 wins. In their 8 losses, they're -15.
And for Michael Vick, his first game back after missing 3 with broken ribs. Now, he started out, it rained early in the day, so the field was slick and he couldn't plant his feet. And the Dolphin pressure was there. We mentioned the 4 sacks, including that face mask penalty.
And then this is the play that got it going. It was a throwback to LaShawn McCoy, and then a little screen out there to Deshaun Jackson. There's Brent Selleck, and then the big one to Deshaun Jackson. Great throw. It was a broken coverage. Very, very good route. I think forced him to break the coverage.
And they're just checking. Remember when Michael Vick said that the ribs, they were more towards the back. He's wearing that Kevlar vest and wanted to make sure. He said he wouldn't take a pain injection before the game. Didn't think that he needed it.
Third quarter, the time will be kept on the field by the line judge.
So the clock malfunction has affected the visibility of time in the game, and you still be able to see the play clock for players.
And it's hard to predict what the trainer's working on there with Mike Vick, if it's a low back issue or if it is where those ribs are. And he did tell us it was more in the rear on his backside where the ribs were injured this year versus last year.
Time will be kept on the field, so you can ignore that clock because we're just starting the third quarter. Remember, the Dolphins deferred to start the game. Henry ready to boot it to Clyde Gates. Felt like I was doing a radio talk show with Tim Ryan while they were working on the clock. And I'm serious. All right, they're going to come out to the 20-yard line here. Michael Vick, through the years, and this is what his offensive coordinator talked to him about, Slide, you're 31 years old now. You can't keep taking the hits, whether they're in or out of the pocket.
Well, his best ability, if you really think about it, maybe his availability, Chris, week in and week out. And, you know, the great ones and the ones that are making all the cash and winning all the games are the guys that obviously are the playmakers, but they have to be available. You can't every year go through a block where you're missing 4 or 5 games.
He said he hurt himself and his team by not being able to play. Matt Moore at first down. That's high and incomplete. Anthony Fasano had his hands on it. but excellent defense in the secondary. Looks like he's holding that right hand in pain.
That's Asante Samuel,
who had a fumble recovery, a strip and recovery earlier.
And Samuel makes a big break on this ball.
You said he's a baiter.
No, he is. Now he'll lay the sugar down and let you think one thing as a quarterback and bait you into throwing something and then jump the route and go get it. That time he was playing the deep middle part of the field, read the eyes of the quarterback and went and split the arms down with Fasano and got the ball out.
Reggie Bush. It'll be 3rd and long. The running game has just not been there for Miami. They've been limited in their time with the football. Mentioned sacks in the game so far, and for Babin with 14 this season, that's a career high for him. Some of the other stars on defense facing a 3rd and 9.
And you know, they have not been able to exploit the matchup of Reggie Bush on Casey Matthews, who's starting at middle linebacker in the sub package and the nickel package. There's Casey there, and there's Reggie there.
That's underneath, but Reggie Bush is going to have to break some tackles to get a first down. It looked like he fell short of the 30. Kurt Coleman, who had an interception earlier in the game, brought him down.
Yeah, and that time they put Casey Matthews on the tight end and switched it up and gave a different look because of where Reggie was lined up to the opposite side.
And it's 4th down.
Yeah. Had Akeem Jordan on him or Clayton, and they ran through him, ran away from him.
Even Andy Reid said, you know, everybody's picking on our defense, but our offense, because of the turnovers, we put them in the hole quite a bit, and they haven't played, at least in his view, all that poorly. They're certainly playing well today. Fields.
Well, you know where they played bad. It's been down in the red zone with their backs against the wall.
Deshaun Jackson on the run. All the way up across the 40, where the Eagles will take over. This crowd is quiet, stunned, and disappointed because Michael Vick and the Eagles have a 24-7 lead.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the all-new Volkswagen Passat 2012 Motor Trend Car of the Year. By Rise of the Planet of the Apes on Blu-ray and DVD in 2 days. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Dolphins are going to have to rally here. Jeremy Maclin, who has 1 catch today, his first game back after a shoulder and hamstring problem, unlikely to play the rest of this game. Eagles with a 17-point lead in the football. LaShawn McCoy into Dolphin territory near a Philadelphia first down. He came in just 3 yards behind Maurice Jones-Drew as the leading rusher in the NFL. Maurice Jones-Drew of Jacksonville had 43 yards rushing at the half of his game.
And he's an outstanding cutback runner. Look, 2 deep safeties, you got 2 tight ends on the field. That means you got 7 guys to block 7 in the box. Mike Vick's going to check to a run every time. The numbers just favor LaShawn McCoy getting untouched before he gets to the line of scrimmage. And his vision and patience is just outstanding. And I think a big part of that is this scheme, the zone running scheme installed by Howard Mudd, the new offensive line coach.
He checks out. Ronnie Brown, the ex-Dolphin, the creator of the Wildcat, on the field, carries for Philadelphia. McCoy, 1 rushing touchdown away from tying Steve Van Buren for 15 in a season on the ground, and that would also tie Van Buren for overall number of touchdowns at 18. And there is Howard Mudd.
The best in the business for sure, maybe the best when you ask guys around the NFL. And you know, to be able to, what they've done in the run game this year to me is amazing, with a rookie center in Jason Kelsey and a rookie right guard in Danny Watkins, and they're the #2 rushing team in all of pro football. It's a testament to how well they're coached and how they're executed.
On 3rd and 2, Michael Vick slips again, throws and completes for a first down to Jason Avant. Let's get a game break and check in again with Kurt Benefield.
Earlier in the game, Rob Gronkowski set a single-season record for receiving touchdowns by a tight end. He adds to that. His second score of the game put New England up 27-20, but Washington literally just scored right now, so it's 27-26 pending the extra point. Washington giving New England all they can handle, Chris and Tim.
Yeah, and Kurt, who would have thought that, the way the Redskins have been decimated by injury and suspension, quarterback woes.
Yeah, but you've seen the New England Patriots defense play. Whoa. Not good.
And what a year for tight ends. It continues as LaShawn McCoy is back in. And carries for the 15th time today. Has 38 yards rushing and again the 2 touchdowns.
That's one area. Now you look at Miami and how they have stacked it up against the opponent's running game. Talked about that being the highlight matchup coming in. Philly's #2 run game against their #5 run defense. So far it's been pretty darn good for Miami up front.
From the 41 of the Dolphins. Vick has to step up and step away. And it's intercepted. Sean Smith with the pick after he had pressure from Kevin Burnett.
Well, that is cardinal rule for Mike Vick or any quarterback. And Mike does a great job of break and contain, but you can't throw back across your body. Here comes the pressure this way and this way. But watch Mike roll out and then throw back across his body to the middle of the field. No way.
Pressure from Kevin Burnett. Sean Smith, his 2nd interception of the season. Michael Vick, his 12th thrown. 23 interceptions for Eagle quarterbacks. Matt Moore on 1st down with time, and that does nothing. Pass complete at the 35. It'll be 2nd down.
I'll tell you, that's been a huge uptick for Miami on defense is the interceptions. And we were here in week 7, remember, and they were 0-6 and or excuse me, they were 1-6 or 1-7 is what they were because they started 0-7. They had 2 interceptions going into that week. They've had 8 since then by the defense. I mean, you put that into perspective, how their numbers have grown immensely in terms of the interceptions. But they got reason why they've won 4 or 5.
They got to do something on offense. And a nice missed tackle short of the 1st down to Daniel Thomas. It'll be 3rd and about a yard.
Well, he's bigger than Brian Roll, the linebacker who just tried to tackle him.
They haven't really gone downfield very much, this Dolphins offense in this game.
I think one thing when you look at them, they're not a huge big play group that gets vertical. I mean, Anthony Fasano had a big one down the middle of the field, but they've only had 4 touchdowns all season long, over 20+ yards.
Here they face a 3rd and 1. Remember, right before the half, they couldn't convert on 3rd and 1, and they couldn't convert on 4th and 1.
And it's been number 26, Lex Hilliard, in most of these situations this year.
John Jerry in the backfield, the lineman to help. They give it to Reggie Bush. Make that Lex Hilliard, I'm sorry, who did come in for that 3rd and 1. And this doesn't look good for the Dolphins. The Eagle defense has transformed in this game. After watching Marshawn Lynch, the Dolphins probably thought they'd be able to run all over the field. But that was a week ago Thursday.
You just wonder, I mean, and I'm sure Reggie Bush is thinking the same thing. I'm pretty sure they knew we were going to Lex Hilliard there. They have done it so much in short yardage situations all season long. Pretty transparent what the play call was going to be. Philadelphia was ready for it.
Fields. And he sticks it inside the 3-yard line. A tremendous punt and placement of 55 yards. So the Eagles escape the Vick interception and still lead by 17. Tim Wright, Chris Myers, Jamie Maggio on the field as we welcome you back here in South Florida, where the Eagles on offense at their own 4, 1st and 10.
Come on, all the way there.
McCoy. Maybe a yard. See the fans going. Some people around the country in chilly temperature are wondering what's going on here. Usually, even for South Florida, December's a little cooler than the high 70s, but when the sun is out, you feel a little of the humidity.
Look at that, 3 guys to put a jersey on for a defensive lineman.
Yeah, maybe he needs an extra line.
That was the hardest part of the game as a defensive lineman. I promise you, pregame trying to get the jersey on. They tell you to get skinny. Not possible.
Vick, incomplete. Intended for Deshaun Jackson. It's got another game break and check in and Kurt Menefee.
Tennessee taking advantage of a big mistake by the Saints. Jake Locker in for the injured Matt Hasselbeck. hooking up with Damian Williams. Watch the end of the play. Roman Harper grabs him by the face mask, then takes it down to the 5. Locker scored in the very next play. So Tennessee has a 10-9 lead over the Saints right now, late in the third, Chris and Tim.
Fourth down. A stop by the Dolphins forces Philadelphia into a punt.
And they're sending the pressure. And Mike Nolan knows they've got this guy and they got a running back over here, 2 in the backfield. Let's send guys. Jeremiah Bell looked like he was coming scot-free up the middle and got held by Jason Kelsey. You see the center reach out and grab Jeremiah Bell as he was going through the line of scrimmage.
And if you're holding while your quarterback's in the end zone,
that would have ended up being a safety.
Reggie Bush hoping for something. A spark. Back to return the punt. Remember the Dolphins blocked one in the first half. On the scoop, there goes Reggie. Inside the 40 of the Eagles. Tim Ryan wears at least a large.
D lineman.
What do you borrow that?
Jerseys skin tight, baby. Don't let anybody grab them.
Got that from Jay Glazer. From the 39 of Philadelphia, the Dolphins trailing by 17 with a 1st and 10. They scored on their very first possession after a blocked kick. They've got nothing since. Reggie Bush gets through the middle. Down to the 25 of the Eagles.
That's what I was talking about in the open, Chris, with Reggie Bush when we started this game. It's not all outside bounce plays and gadget plays. It's downhill in between the tackles. Watch what he does to the safety right here and just spins him. Watch him just spin Nate Allen.
Gain of 13 yards. That's Reggie's best run of the day. Best run for Miami. And a first set of downs.
Read it.
Bush again. Reggie inside the 10. He got the crowd going last week with push-ups.
It's a really nice block by Pouncey, but Brian Daboll, I'm telling you, if you watch this team this year, you know that he will repeat plays, and he'll go right back to him. And the first play right up the gut, Reggie Bush gets up on the safety and Nate Allen, and then that's the same exact play. Good blocking up front, but I love offensive coordinators that don't have their heads always buried in that play sheet. They're actually watching the game, what works, when it works, and not afraid to go right back to it.
After a 17-yard run, 1st and goal for the Dolphins.
We may see it again.
There's Reggie Bush.
Told you.
When you're hot, you're hot. I saw Brian Daboll look up at you from his play chart.
Yep, and there's the bubble clearly in terms of there's nobody defending that area as a defensive lineman. So you block down with Richie Incognito, and now Casey Matthews has a gap, the middle backer about 8 yards wide to try to fill. He doesn't get his hands on Reggie till he's 5 yards down the field.
2nd and goal from the 2. 3 straight carries for Reggie Bush.
This will be probably a trap with Richie Incognito pulling and leading the way.
Randall Thomas is in. Matt Moore has the football. Floats it into the end zone. And out of bounds. It was not a wise throw. He had the whole right side of the field if he wanted to run for the touchdown.
Clayton was sitting there waiting for it too. And this time they fake the play action, hoping those linebackers and defensive backs bite. Fasano was just trying to play defense there, so that didn't get intercepted. That was not a good throw.
Now you're at the 2. Are you thinking 4 down territory?
Down 17 points. I think so. I think they got to pound it in right here. I know short yardage hasn't been good to them. It's been good on this drive. Light it up in the run game.
Daniel Thomas goes nowhere. Met right at the line of scrimmage by Derek Landry and knocked backward.
Well, they were thinking the same thing. Landry, who just took about 6 guys to put his jersey on, just comes big time on the penetration.
And a Dolphin player is down on the field.
And they did not expect Derek Landry to take the outside gap charge like they did. He went right by the offensive line.
And it is Daniel Thomas, the rookie from Kansas State, slow to get up after taking that shot. So given the loss of yardage on the play, Miami will line up for a field goal. Carpenter missed one earlier from long range of 55. This will be 22 yards.
How good has that red zone defense been today for Philadelphia?
And trying to get Miami, Tim, to within 2 scores. So the field goal is good. And there's some scuffling going on down there after the snap of the football. Pushing, shoving. Here comes a flag. And they're moving all the way from the 5 back to the 15. There's Eagles pushing each other, trying to keep them away from the fray. King Dunlap was in there. I just threw his name out because he has a,
you've been
nice
wanting to say that. Yeah, you've been wanting to say that.
Clay Harbor, that name. But he's fired up. Don't let him get out there. It was after the field goal.
Interesting call when you think about it. I know there's a lot of time left, but down 17, and you've counted on your defense here in the second half to get turnovers. You've had to settle for a field goal. I mean, Philadelphia, not a lot of opportunities.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 65, Philadelphia. That 15-yard penalty will be administered on the kickoff.
King Dunlap called.
You got to
for the
say
penalty.
it twice. And there he is, big 65. He's 6'9", so he's going to hit somebody. But look, not a lot of opportunity to play red zone defense. Only twice this year, but they've been bad all season, Philadelphia.
Start of the 4th quarter. The Dolphins trail by 14, but have the football on 2nd down from the 46. And Reggie Bush, only 17 yards rushing in the first half, 7 carries, 68 yards so far in the second half. J.P. Loshman, it's batted incomplete. Matt Moore checked that is in for J.P. Loshman. He came in after the break as Darryl Tapp got his hands up and knocked the pass away.
You got to get him chopped down if you're an offensive lineman, and your quarterback is trusting that defensive end is going to get chopped down on the quick pass, so he is blindly throwing that quick throw, and Nate Gardner did not get Tapp chopped down, and he got the block.
Direction that Moore is not back in. Loshman continues to play for the Dolphins starter, who was hit hard and remains on the sideline.
And this is an area, this 3rd and shorts, where they have really failed today on 3rd down, Miami.
Loshman completes the pass right at the 1st down marker to Brandon Marshall, and he was shoved back. 3rd down has been a problem all day.
He never got past the sticks, and here's been the problem on 3rd down. Right here, Devon Bess, he has the 1st down, but then he fumbles. They lose that fumble. Great play by Asante Samuel. Here comes the pressure. Casey Matthews unblocked with a rock shot. That was a great job by Cullen Jenkins on that short yardage. Again, and then here's Derek Landry knifing through on short yardage. I mean, they have put themselves in some good, manageable situations on 3rd down. And Brian Daboll has called the plays, the offensive coordinator, but give Philadelphia credit, Chris, defensively. They have not allowed Miami to bust through for the 1st downs on the money down.
Miami also failed on a 4th down and short try. The measurement here, and that's how far they have to go for a 1st down. And they will go for it against Juan Castillo's defense. Matt Moore looks like he was lobbying to try to get back in the game, but Loshman is staying in.
They got to go to somebody other than Lex Hilliard, right? I mean,
I would agree.
They've already turned and handed to him at least 3 times in this game in short yardage situations that they've been unable to convert.
And if your quarterback, so now Matt Moore is headed to the locker room, and if your quarterback is a capable runner, Loshman, JP is 6'2", 220 plus pounds.
Yeah, this Philly defense, I mean, a sneak, I see it, but if you're going to get him running sideways against a fast flowing defense like Philadelphia, I don't like it. Yeah, they're going to spread him out by formation and turn and hand it to Reggie Bush.
4th down. Brandon Marshall on the right. Hartline is on the left.
And you can see Philadelphia's got everybody in the box to defend the run.
Lossman keeps.
Oh yeah, his knees never went to the ground. What a good job by him.
Yeah, he ducked low and was motoring forward. The lines on the field are just kind of a gauge. The officials will use the chains officially if it's that close to measure.
Boy, Reggie is animated. Look at Reggie Bush down there. Oh, that's a bad spot based on what I saw from up here and the way Lossman was just pile driving through low. Watch as he dips unless somehow one of his knees touches on the ground. Neither. Oh, he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. This is not, no way.
Yeah, but if you drop the ball and pick it up.
But his knee was down, it looked like, as he dropped it. Yeah, his knee's still on the ground as he got control of that football. This is going to be Philadelphia ball.
That's probably why the spot is where it is. But it's the Dolphins. First down.
Now you've got to wonder if Philadelphia wants to challenge.
The review before the end of the first half was under 2 minutes, so that was an official call upstairs. And the challenge flag is coming from Andy Reid.
And I don't blame him.
But how can you tell from the video? It's so difficult.
He was still trying to corral the football when his knee was already on the ground. I think Andy Reid is going to win this challenge.
Well, it's a big one, so why not? J.P. Lossman pressed into duty, signed in October, added to this Dolphin team.
Philadelphia's challenge of ruling on the field of forward progress relative to a first down.
Keeps on an important fourth down to try to keep the Dolphin hopes alive of rallying from a 14-point deficit. It's under review.
Today's game is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. By Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint.
Ruling on the field is first down Dolphins, challenged by Andy Reid. Let's bring in Mike Pereira, our Fox Rules analyst, and get his view as the officials check this out. Mike?
Hey, Tim got right on this thing as soon as you saw the ball was loose. He then does recover with the knee on the ground, but can you really see that he was touched when he then moved forward after that? So, I hate these little dives into the middle and plunges up the middle because it's so hard actually to come up with anything definitively. And, in the mode where we are now, I like the ruling on the field stands things here, just stands here too, because you just can't see for sure whether he is touched at that point.
Mike, they do have the ability in the review box up here to stop it, right, to see if there is any green jersey that's touching Lossman as he drops it and then now recovers it there, the knee's down.
But you can't tell.
It looked like Trent Cole from behind, and they could jog it and stop it, right, Mike, to see if Trent Cole's actually touching him at that point.
Looked like you saw Trent Cole there with his arm on his back.
Exactly.
Which again, if they stop it at that point, these are so tough.
He's on
but you watch there, Clearly Trent Cole's on his back there, so you would look at that now and think that you have enough to reverse that and put him down, because I do believe the knee is down. That was the most definitive shot there of him being touched.
That's right.
And Ron Winter has taken a look and is trotting out to announce the call.
After review, the quarterback muffed the snap. He repossessed the ball with two knees on the ground, was touched down by number 58 of the defense. He is short of the line to gain. The ball is dead at the 47-yard line. It's 1st and 10, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
A terrific challenge. Thank you, Mike Pereira and Tim Ryan, pointing out Trent Cole's arm on the spot. And that spot turns it over to the Philadelphia Eagles with 14:19 to play in the fourth quarter.
Thank you, Mike Pereira. You're awesome, bro.
And so is the Eagle defense. And the Dolphins have to do something about short yardage, because that has cost them in this game.
Well, I just don't know how you don't turn and hand it to Reggie Bush, who has been slamming it up inside. Especially they were able to spread him out by formation. Turn and give it to Reggie, who's had a big second half. You know, J.P. Lossman fumbled the snap.
He hasn't been in games that often, and we got word from the Dolphins sideline. Matt Moore shaken up. Unquestionable return for the Dolphins quarterback, who was starting his 9th consecutive game, most in his NFL career. And Michael Vick back for the first time in 3 games.
Now what you want up 2 touchdowns is for this zone running scheme that Howard Mudd loves, and your big-time rushing attack to be able to take over and chew up this clock.
Michael Vick is on the run, gets away, is still motoring, and is eventually brought down. Looked like Cameron Wake got to him, but they couldn't sack him in the pocket. It's one way to chew up time. His second run of the game, and he picked up 4 yards.
There's clearly nobody open because Mike was moving around the pocket. They built a nice pocket around him, and there was just nowhere for him to go down the field with the football, so he had to take off and try to force the issue.
McCoy, his 18th carry, pushed back, trying to find room, and Carlos Dansby would not let him get away. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, good job by Dansby. 58, he's all the way over here, but because it's such a long developing play with McCoy getting shut down right there, it's Dansby that starts it, and now Dansby's going to be the one that finishes it.
Perfect. 5-yard loss, 3rd and 11. Here comes pressure. Batted in the air and almost intercepted.
Was it Merlin again?
Cameron Wake had a chance at the ball floating in the air for the pick.
Was it Philip Merlin again that gets his hands up and gets the bat down? And this guy started as an outside player. Here you're going to see him come up on the inside here. And when he started his career here, he was an outside edge rusher, and he has put on a bunch of weight and a bunch of size, and usually when that happens, you're going to move closer down to the football in the line of scrimmage. Defensive tackle, nose guard. Another good job reading the quarterback and knowing when to get his hands up for the block.
Eagles forced to punt despite the good field position. And a nice kick that Devon Best lets go. And it goes into the end zone. Not close, and a big difference of some 18 or 19 yards. A 52-yard punt. The Dolphins will have it on offense from their own 20 with J.P. Lossman, the quarterback.
Buy it Tuesday.
Eagles enjoying their trip south with a 24-10 lead, 12:50 to go. Matt Moore again with a head injury. He will not return, so it's all up to J.P. Lossman if the Dolphins are to rally. First down from their own 20. Pressure coming, and he goes down. The Eagle defense with another sack, their 5th of the game.
You just wondered when no Jake Long was going to show up and rear its ugly head for the Miami Dolphins, and there we just saw with Trent Cole just blazing around the corner of Nate Gardner.
And also Vernon Carey went out. He's come in some short yardage, but for the most part has been out with John Jerry again in his spot at right guard. So 2 starters on the line out, and the Eagle defense taking advantage. Reggie Bush checks in. He has the football and nowhere to go. Asante Samuel runs him back into the end zone. And he gets out to the 4-yard line.
All right, great awareness of Reggie, knowing that the whistle didn't blow and his forward progress wasn't stopped. He knew he was back in the end zone and better get out, and was able to save it and not get tackled for a safety.
3rd and long. There's a guy who's been under fire.
Well, he's been on fire today. Juan Castillo's defense have really played their hearts out in some critical situations, in particular the short yardage situations.
After a loss of 9.
Okay.
Reggie Bush has it. It'll be 4th down.
You know, defenders almost don't expect Reggie to put his head down and run you over. Everybody's waiting for Reggie to try to juke him and get to the sideline. He'll have none of it this year.
Just like he did in New Orleans and won a Super Bowl there. One of those special players.
No, he never did that in New Orleans.
No, I mean a championship in college football, a championship in New Orleans, and he's embraced the community here in Miami. And he did that in New Orleans to help turn things around for a franchise that did not have success with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. The Saints are winning today in the 4th quarter. And Deshaun Jackson. He's brought down at the 31-yard line of Philadelphia. 10:35 to go in the 4th quarter. The Eagles, with faint playoff hopes, they're still alive.
Today's game is sponsored by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
The Eagles with a 14-point lead and the football. 10:35 to go. If Philadelphia wins out, the Giants go 2-2 and the Cowboys go 1-3 the rest of the way, and they play later tonight. Then the Eagles, through tiebreakers, if other things happen, would win the NFC East. It was talked about this week, not a lot by the coaches. But some of the Eagle players said it has to start with a win here. LaShawn McCoy. He'll lose yards. And a late flag.
When the runner's on the ground, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 96, defense. Elbow to the ribs of the runner on the ground. 15 yards, 1st down.
Paul Soliai called for the penalty, and the wheels are starting to come off for the Dolphins.
Yeah, no piling on, no splashing. Here's 96, Paul Soliai, and McCoy's already down, and he's going to drop about 355 right on him with a elbow to the back of the ribs.
McCoy only weighs about 200 pounds. LaShawn did have 2 touchdowns in the first half, and that penalty sets up the Eagles at the 43 and 1st down.
You got to figure you just keep handing it to LaShawn McCoy, and he's eventually going to pop a big one.
Vick sets up to throw instead, and to Deshaun Jackson. Looked like it bounced.
Mike Vick never set his feet. I mean, he just threw that off his back foot, and he skipped it into Deshaun Jackson. It was good blitz pickup, though, by LaShawn McCoy. And up 14, I don't want to say play it safe for Philadelphia because they love to spread you out and throw the football, but already Chris being sacked 4 times in this game, and the ability of the Miami Dolphins, who will be looking for a turnover to send pressure and get all over your quarterback. You may want to think about protecting Mike Vick a little bit here and just letting LaShawn McCoy handle it for you.
What do you got?
McCoy trying to find room and falls forward for a yard and a half. The Dolphin defense has dug in since the Deshaun Jackson touchdown. Philadelphia scoring 17 points off turnovers. And 3rd and 11. Vick sets up to throw. Incomplete. There was pressure from Jason Taylor, and the Eagles are forced to punt.
Yeah, and that's what you don't want is Mike Vick in a 14-point game with third and long situations getting pounced on by a couple of defensive linemen. Tell you what was interesting too, coming into the game today, Philadelphia, they'd only given up 21 sacks. I mean, protection had not been a major problem. I know Vick had gotten hit a lot, but the sack numbers are way down in terms of what people have done to their offense.
Henry's boot. Devon Best, fair catch at the 8-yard line. You get the impression with J.P. Lossman in, for Matt Moore that the Dolphin offense has to go somewhere for some results. Howard Budd working with that offensive line. It's been a tough go today.
You wave the sheet at him 3 times and then you throw it out.
Be careful with that cane of his. On first down, Lossman in the end zone. There's a flag and he goes down.
Yeah, and this is going to be a hold, so either way it's a safety.
And yeah, the Eagles are signaling safety.
Unless it's illegal hands to the face by a Philadelphia Eagle.
And Philip Hunt got to J.P. Lossman. Darryl Tapp in pain.
Yeah, the only thing that will save Miami here is a defensive penalty and a hands to the face. And I'm not so sure that's going to be the call.
The result of the play is a safety. During the play, personal foul, grasping the face mask, offense number 75. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the safety kick, half the distance to the goal.
Nate Garner called for the penalty. He came in for Jake Long. Remember, Vernon Carey is out. Matt Moore. So 3 starters on the Miami offense out of this game.
Yeah, and the Philadelphia Eagles have made it pay for it. And look at that, is just pure power rush by Tapp over there on Nate Gardner. And then here's the other side with Philip Hunt on Mark Colombo. And those defensive ends playing from those wide alignments, J.P. Lossman's had no chance since he's come in. And it was just as bad for Matt Moore before.
Darryl Tapp getting some attention from the medical staff, and the 2-point safety makes it a 26-10 Eagle advantage.
This defense, I mean, completely different playing with the lead and Juan Castillo's group. I mean, they're undersized, they're quick, they're going to out-quick you, and when they know they're rushing the passer, unless you just keep 7 guys in to protect and try to double team those ends, they're going to get to your quarterback.
That's the 6th sack of the game for the Eagles. Their last safety, by the way, 2009, when Cadillac Williams was tackled in the end zone by Darren Howard.
I mean, it's just hard to put into words what the defense has been able to do today against an offense that had really been humming. 28 points a game in the last 5 games for Miami coming into this one. And they have just been throttled way down by Philadelphia's D with the turnovers and the pass rush.
Those 6 sacks, that is a season high for the Eagle defense. Philadelphia will get great field position. They get the Jets at home next. Then they're at Dallas and home against Washington to end the season and try and do their part to keep postseason possibilities for the Eagles alive, which is incredible when you think about the way the season has gone for Philadelphia. Dan Carpenter with the punt on the kickoff. Brandon Fields will take over for what would normally be his position. And Deshaun Jackson back as Fields boots it. Deshaun Jackson running across the 25-yard line. The Eagles will take over on offense with just under 9 minutes to play. On Friday, January 6th, one of the most anticipated bowl games of the season. Kansas State ranked 8th against Arkansas, 6th ranked. It's the only Big 12 SEC showdown, and our coverage of the 76th Cotton Bowl Classic will come to you live from Cowboy Stadium, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, January 6th in high definition on Fox. And the Dolphin miscues today. 2 fumbles lost, the safety, 5 sacks. Their defense has played well. You could add another sack most recently, so that should be 6 sacks. As McCoy carries.
This may be the best game I've ever seen Philip Merlin play for the Miami Dolphins. Seriously, a high pick. It was a big disappointment. He's had some significant injuries. He hasn't even been active for a good portion of games this year, and he is making his presence felt.
Second round draft pick, Tim, out of Clemson in his 4th year. Some fans that are here are still chanting. Their defense has played very well. And I think the Eagle defense, a little better games I've seen them play in a long time.
It's the best game I've seen their defense play this year.
McCoy Brought down by Randy Starks. It'll be 3rd down. The Eagles started, they won their opener against the Rams, Andy. Then they lost 4 in a row.
Talking to Andy yesterday, he said he's never been through anything like this, but he also said we're about to get it right. He said we'll win tomorrow.
He said he was adamant about that. We're going to put on a show, he told me.
Yep.
Lucy.
And enough to win. Deshaun Jackson has it, and it'll be 4th down. And after they had lost those 4 in a row, they beat, and these will be important through the tiebreaker. They beat Washington and Dallas in back-to-back games in their division before that loss to Chicago and then Arizona when Michael Vick got hurt.
Well, 3-1 in the division. It speaks for itself, and you said it. I mean, because of, and now they're going to need help. They're going to need to win out. We've shown it a few times today. They're going to need to win out, and they're going to need some help for Dallas to go 1-3 and the Giants to go 2-2, and they'll win the division at 8-8. Incredible.
The NFC playoff picture as the Dolphins use one of their 3 timeouts, so they will have 2 remaining. 2 teams have already clinched their division, and that's Green Bay. They play later today. By the way, the perfect season, will get you Don Shula's comments on that. And you see New Orleans, they are a minute 45 away from winning. And then that Dallas NFC East Giants battle, they play tonight. Who knows what's going to happen there?
Do you see what Atlanta's doing in that comeback against Carolina? Are you kidding me?
They're up 31-23 with 2 minutes to go. And how about this? You know, Michael Vick was saying this week that, you know, leadership, we use the term with the quarterback position, but when he's out injured, that also affects the kind of leader he can be.
And look, bottom line is this: his offensive line has not had a good day with protecting him or opening running lanes for LaShawn McCoy.
And Reggie Bush checks back in, trying to make something happen for the Dolphins. He lets it go, and that's a tough break because it'll go inside the 15-yard line. 26-10 with just over 7 minutes to go. Well, the Eagles, you know, the question is, you are what your record is. Do they look like a playoff team to you? You've watched them through the year.
I'll tell you one thing. Their offensive line doesn't look like a playoff offensive line today. Defensively, they're having a whale of a football game. They do control their own destiny. They've got all their weapons back. They can get hot in a hiccup. They're a good football team. And I know everyone talks about them being young and all that. Forget it. It's about ball security. It's about ball control in terms of keeping the football and not having the turnovers. And we know they were worse in the league coming into this game today, and they've had a few today as well.
And when they're healthy, their offense obviously can play with anybody. As the handoff straight up the middle to Reggie Bush. They control their own destiny to a point. They still need.
Well, they need help.
Yeah, because if the Giants or Dallas win out one of those teams, although they all play each other, which increases the possibility that you can have that scenario.
But you know what? If you win out and controlling your own destiny in terms of the perception, because if this team wins out, I'm telling you, it takes all the heat off of Andy Reid and Juan Castillo and the rest of them.
Lossman goes down at the 15. Here comes a flag. That's another sack. Trent Cole got in for what would be the 7th, unless this penalty negates that, by Philadelphia.
And I'll say the same thing I said about Tony Sparano earlier with Andy Reid.
Personal foul, contact to the knees of the quarterback, defense number 58, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
All right, so it is on Trent Cole, no sack.
Yeah, and they're just licking their chops. But I'll say the same thing about Andy Reid as I said about Tony Sparano. I mean, you look around the NFL and tell me where you're going to find a better leader. There's Trent Cole, who's fallen down, and that's a good call. A better leader in terms of a head figure that knows how to coach coaches and knows how to coach players than Andy Reid in terms of coordinators. You're not going to find them.
In his 13th season, Andy Reid, and again only 2 losing seasons. You know, Michael Vick was asked about that, and he said, I'm not worried about Andy Reid. I think we'll all be back here next year. Daniel Thomas carries as long as the players do their job. And of course, Vick got that big contract in the neighborhood of $100 million after his year last year. And that's another reason you want to protect and keep him healthy, as he has put the Eagles in position coming back for the first time in the 3-game absence. Darryl Tapp unlikely to return with an injury. We saw him go away on the safety for the Eagle defense.
And Mike has been rusty today. I mean, saw him miss a couple of guys, did have the big touchdown.
Lossman across the 30. He keeps. Keenan Clayton runs him down. Matt Moore was hurt just as the fourth quarter was beginning. A blow to the head, and that forced Lossman, who in 2004 was drafted in the opening round, 22nd pick in the draft by the Buffalo Bills. Never quite lived up to the college hype coming out of Tulane.
Yeah.
On 3rd and 11. For Fasano, who hangs on at the 45 of the Eagles. A high snap, an awkward play, but a good result for the Dolphins.
And made the quarterback look good there, did Fasano, just sneaking around Clayton, who was in great coverage. But Anthony never took his eyes off the ball. And watch this right from his perspective in the middle of the field. Watch him slip around Clayton right there and reach out and get it.
A gain of 25. There's a flag down in the backfield as Hartline makes his first catch of the game.
I think they're going to get a hit on Yoselio Hansen for planting his helmet on the side of the helmet of Matt Moore is what it looked like.
Of Lossman, you mean?
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 21. Contact at the head of the quarterback. Half the distance to the goal.
That is the right call. And so, Tim, that'll, after the gain of 24, they'll tack on more yardage after the penalty.
And you could see Hansen here coming on a blitz, and he's just going to leap and just put his face mask right through the ear hole of J.P. Lossman. That was an easy call. And then here's the catch. Nice comeback. Good adjustment. J.P. Lossman throwing the back shoulder fade and a good adjustment. That one's hard to stop now for corners. It was good coverage, but the throw and then the adjustment by Hartline made it possible for him to get the catch.
That's why the NFL is great theater. When J.P. Lossman, when the day began, he had no idea that he would be called upon to try and rally the team against the Eagles. On 1st and 10. The throw is high and incomplete. Marshall was open at the 5. It'll be 2nd and 10.
This would be a good opportunity here if Philly can keep them out to get confidence going in their red zone defense. As bad as they've been this year, and they've been bad, the worst in the league. This is their only 3rd time down in the red zone today, and they're 1 for 1. And of course, the last one, they were able to keep them out. If they can do it again here, they could certainly build off of that going into next week, I would think.
Incomplete. There's a flag down at the 20.
They're going to probably get Hunt for coming low on the quarterback trying to turn the corner. Either that or a hold on the left tackle. We'll see.
Garner, the left tackle.
Holding.
Yep.
Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
In for Jake Long. So it'll go back to the 20.
And there's the matchup right there at the top. You'll see Philip Hunt. It turns low, and now he's going to end up coming in low. He doesn't hit Lossman hard enough to even have a factor, but Garner jumped on his back.
2nd down 20. 4:30 to go. The Dolphins have 2 timeouts. He waited, he's throwing, he's open. Brandon Marshall could not hold on. And a nice late defensive recovery over there by Nate Allen.
Lossman just throws it up, back pylon. It's actually a good throw, just better coverage. You like the fact that he gave big Brandon Marshall an opportunity against a safety one-on-one. See if your guy can go get it.
Brandon Marshall, the only touchdown of this game for Miami, and it happened on the Dolphins' first possession. On 3rd and 20. Fasano tries for the one-hander. Incomplete. 4th down. Well, you need 2 scores and 2 two-point conversions.
Right down the pipe here. Fasano one-on-one on the middle linebacker, the rookie Casey Matthews, wide open. Just overthrew him by a little bit. Fasano could barely get one hand on it. And he's made some of those circus catches, some of those one-handers this year. That one he couldn't.
So they need 20 for a first down. We're going to get a timeout here called.
Philadelphia. They're first.
Dolphins.
30-second timeout.
Eagles have 2 remaining. Dolphins are 0 for 2 on 4th down, and they've struggled on 3rd down in short yardage. The NFL next week on Fox, and hope you've enjoyed our game and the coverage today from the pregame show throughout the afternoon. You'll see Redskins and Giants. Late game is the Lions and Raiders. It all starts with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. You know, the Packers play later trying to stay undefeated, and I saw some comments from Don Shula, who was here at the game, quoted the Miami Herald, said, you know, about the perfect season for the Pack. I'm not some grumpy old guy sitting in front of the TV set rooting for the Packers to lose. You know, Joe DiMaggio didn't root for people to break his record, but if they do it, I'll congratulate him. And Bob Greasy was asking Harvey Green of the Dolphins for Aaron Rodgers' numbers, and I might have to call him and congratulate him. Bob finished up that Earl Morrall.
Well, the perfect season won't end at the end of the regular season. It'll end in Indianapolis. It doesn't mean anything for Green Bay unless it ends there.
Ask the Patriots about that.
That's right.
On 4th down, no, he's down. The whistle blew. The official called it. And Trent Cole and Jason Babin had Lossman wrapped up at the 30.
We've had a few of those Sunday afternoon meetings at the quarterback, both of those defensive ends today. And take a listen for the whistle, and then you'll be able to understand why they called them down. They had a field day today, both of those defensive ends, especially Babin.
That is the 8th sack of this game for the Eagles. Worth standing and clapping about.
And you know who loves it more than anybody? Jim Washburn, their defensive line coach, standing over on the sideline.
Tony Sperano frustrated with injuries on the offensive line. His team had been playing so well. And then, of course, Matt Moore with a head injury, and J.P. Lossman thrown into the fire against a fired-up Philadelphia defense. McCoy has carried 22 times, and he gets the carry again. And a healthy run out across the 37-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go. 80-plus yards rushing for LaShawn McCoy in today's game.
Look, the defense for Miami is not the reason why they're going to walk away with an L in this game. And 26 points, that's tough to swallow. 2 of those came on a safety. But they played pretty darn good defense when you talk about their ability to shut down a potent running attack. And they've got pressure all over Mike Vick, and they've been good on 3rd down.
Plug.
McCoy carries again up near the 40, near a first down. You know, we've seen the running game. How about the record that Dan Marino owns for passing yardage in a single season of 5,084? And there right now are at least 3 quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers, who are threatening that mark. Brees already through 12 games hit the 4,000 mark. The Saints won again today. That's a record. You talk about records that may fall. That may fall by a quarterback or 2 this season.
Incredible. You know, you talk about the 4,000-yard threshold. Those are coming certainly a lot more frequent than they ever did before in this league that's become a passing league.
McCoy gets the first down and stays inbounds. And you talk about on a game-by-game basis, 300 yards may be the, 350 may be the new 300. Coming into the game, this is where the yardage marks were of the guys we mentioned that could threaten that record. And, of course, after the weekend, we'll total up the yardage. And 3 regular season games remain after this weekend. Drew Brees will finish at home in the Dome against Carolina and Cam Newton. That timeout, by the way, Miami's. They have one.
Now you got me curious. I would love to see what Breeze did today in that game at Tennessee. We got to get that figured out.
And we'll check on the yardage because we also have Brady, who finished his game today. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers plays a little bit later against the Raiders. 337 yards for Drew Brees.
Right on pace to blow that record up.
Hey,
and Tom Brady, 357 yards. So 350 is the new 300. McCoy spins the other way and did a lot to get a little. And what Andy Reid said, he's a make-you-miss back rather than a break tackles back. But some people, in fact, it was Jason Taylor who talked about McCoy and said he has a little Barry Sanders in him. And McCoy said, no, he's my favorite runner all time. But Barry Sanders was my idol, but I'm a different body type.
They're totally different. And Barry was, in terms of body type, from the waist down, he was so thick in his legs and his lower body. Maybe the start and stop side cut and just having guys grasp at air is maybe, that would be the comparison. But in terms of the complete running style and the way they look, and I'm not buying that one at all. And it was good to hear McCoy say he wasn't either.
26 carries. Wanted to correct the yardage totals. Only 44 yards for McCoy in this game today. He does have the 2 touchdowns, and those yards have been tough because of that Dolphin defense, and as you pointed out, Tim, the offensive line.
Well, and another thing with McCoy is because of the pass rush, they've limited him as a receiver today.
He did have 3 catches, and the catch you talked about helped get that offense going early in the game.
Well, that was the big one, but that's a guy that had 78 catches last year, had 42 coming into the game today. And as he told us, he thought that's why they drafted him, was because of his receiving skills.
We have an unsportsmanlike conduct call against Miami's bench. So the penalty being assessed against the Dolphins takes it to the 43 of Miami with 2:24 to go. And the Dolphins are out of timeouts.
Hey,
27th carry for McCoy, who has to go back the other way, and he'll lose yardage. He's had quite a few of those runs today where he's tried to make something happen, and he's ended up losing yards back near midfield. It's the 2-minute warning, seconds away, and the Eagles, with a 26-10 lead, are that far away from their 5th win of the year. We're talking about the great Hall of Famer Dan Marino and those numbers he put up for the Dolphins. This is including what Drew Brees and Tom Brady did in today's games that they played. Aaron Rodgers has yet to play. It's a little bit later, so you can see that game has just started.
So even just 250 a game for Brees in the next 3 is going to do it.
And that's
a bad
impressive
day for him.
And notice all 3 of those quarterbacks postseason bound and maybe Super Bowl. Frustrating day for Reggie Bush, who had 90 yards, much of that in the second half. And for LaShawn McCoy, a couple of touchdowns, battling for every inch. Ronnie Brown has checked in for the Eagles, the one-time Dolphin.
I'm going with you.
And he gets the carry, pushing inside the 45. You know, for the Eagles, Michael Vick back. He said a little rusty. They had Jeremy Maclin back for at least part of the game. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie back playing in the secondary. You know, you get out of here with a win and you start to get your key people. It's a good feeling if you're an Eagle.
It's absolutely a good feeling, and the best feeling is it's got to be for Juan Castillo. You know, I mean, say what you want about the offense and the weapons and you know, a little choppy in terms of up and down. They did have the nice big throw to Deshaun Jackson for a touchdown. But defense is the big story today, clearly, for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have put the hammer down on Miami, who were pretty red hot coming into this game, scoring 28 a game.
This is Ronnie Brown. He wants to stay inbounds. Dolphins will next play the Buffalo Bills, and then they go to New England and the Jets as we have a flag down.
Holding. Offense. And penalties decline. Makes it 4th down.
Our producer today, Mike Burks, director Tom Yohe, associate director Brian Biederman, the broadcast associate Matt Saldana, Kevin McCloskey, as always. Quick as our audio engineer on the switches. Buzz Schwing on camera. John Safchinsky, we call him Saf. All the camera and technical crew headed by Frank Phillips, our tech director Tom Maslak. Stage manager John Branco, a Florida TV veteran back from the Wometco days. Our red hat Jay Cohen, another Floridian down on the field. Up in the booth here, Emmett McGuire, James Petralka helping us with spotting and stats. And our thanks to Harvey Green of the Dolphins and Derek Boyko of the Eagles for their cooperation and getting ready for the game today with the teams. And the punt by Henry goes through the end zone. Harvey Green, one of the few public relations directors who sends you a letter with the information thanking you for coming to the game.
Nobody more thorough than old Harvey Green.
We appreciate that. So here's what's remaining for the Eagles. They did what they had to do today, Tim. Can they win those 3?
I think they can. I mean, obviously at Dallas will be an issue. Washington, certainly that one. The Jets played big today, but you bet they can. Their defense plays like they did today, and their offense finds a way to get back on track with those weapons and shaking the rust off. You bet they can.
They crushed the Cowboys in the earlier meeting. And they would need help. Again, the Cowboys would have to go 1-3. Eagles could be a part of that. And the Giants would have to go 2-2. And they play tonight, the Giants and Cowboys. And that's Schlossman going down again. Trent Cole with another one. They might put their second Dolphin quarterback out of the game. That's 9 sacks for the Eagles.
Again, how many times have I said it today? With this team, with the lead, with how they're built defensively, and I said they'll remind you of the Indianapolis Colts with those 2 defensive ends. I mean, you got no chance out there on Trent Cole. Nate Gardner, I mean, it's been a turnstile today since Jake Long went out. Trent Cole, people forget, he's one of the most productive pass rushers in the NFL over the last 5 or 6 seasons. He's right there tracking with Jared Allen and DeMarcus Ware. When this team's playing with a lead and their ears are pinned back, can't stop them.
And Reggie Bush, who has been the heart and soul of this offense, carries, and that should do it. The Dolphins will plan on drafting a quarterback next year and try and build on some of the positives as they will fall to 4-9, and the Eagles will go to 5-8. 26-10. The final, Philadelphia over the Miami Dolphins here in South Florida. The Eagles NFC East Division title hopes still alive. We'll have more in a moment.